Cholas. Very good morning, children. Hope you are all doing well. Did you read the lesson understood well? Today we are going to discuss the next part of the lesson, the Cholas. When I am saying Cholas, what is coming in your mind, children? The Tanjavur Brihadisvara temple or Tanjai Periya Koil? No. Do you all know about this temple? Have you ever gone to this temple? This temple is an example of Chola's architectural marvel. I will say elaborately about this temple later. Now we will see how this Chola dynasty emerged. From Urayur to Tanjavur. This is the first side heading of this topic. What is given in this side heading? We will see Urayur to Tanjavur. Now, Muttarayar is the very famous family held power in Kaveri Delta. That is why they were ruling the Kaveri Delta region. They were the subordinate to the Pallava kings of Kanchipuram. Vijayalaya belongs to the chiefly family of Cholas, captured the power from Uttarayar in the middle of the 9th century. After defeating the Muttarayar, he built a town, Tanjavur, in Kaveri Delta place and also constructed a temple for the goddess Nishumbasudini there. The rulers who came after Vijayalaya extended the kingdom on all the sides and the kingdom became powerful too. These Cholas captured the regions of Pandyas and Pallavas also. The famous Chola kings, some of them are given here, you can see that. Then, Rajaraja I, considered the most powerful Chola ruler, became king in 985 and captured many regions and expanded his kingdom. The administration of Rajaraja I had extraordinary features. His son Rajendra I followed his policies and captured many places. Rajendra was an accomplished warrior who led many successful military expeditions. He had his army march northwards all the way to the Ganga to bring home pots of holy water from the river, defeating enemy armies along the way. His men returned victorious, earning Rajendra the title Gangai Konda Chola, meaning the Chola who conquered the Ganges. He established a new capital city called Gangai Konda Cholapuram, about 70 km from Tanjavur, and built a royal temple there. The temple is commonly called the Brihadisvara temple now. Brihadisvara temple or Perudayar Koil is a Hindu temple dedicated to Shiva. It is located in Tanjavur in the Indian state of Tamil Nadu. It is also known as Periya Koil, Rajarajeshwara temple and Rajarajeshwaram. It is one of the largest temple in India. Brihadisvara temple is an example of Chola's architecture. It was built by Emperor Rajaraja Chola I and completed in 1010 AD. The temple turned 1000 years old in 2010. The temple has fortified walls that were probably added in the 16th century. The Vimanam temple tower is 216 feet high and is the tallest in the world. The kumbam of the temple is carved out of a single rock and weighs around 80 tons. There is a big statue of Nandi carved out of a single rock measuring about 16 feet long and 13 feet high at the entrance. The entire temple structure is made out of granite. The Shivalinga here is gigantic, more than 12 feet tall. The tower height is 216 feet. The tower stands tall and one can see the fabulous structure even as one enters Tanjavur. Brihadisvara temple is the first complete granite temple in the world. Granite is not found in the surrounding areas. It is not known where this massive granite was brought from. 130 tons of granites were used to build this temple. Surprising fact is that there is neither a mountain nor a rocky hill for 60 kilometers around Tanjavur. How did the heavy rock come from? It is said that 3000 elephants were used to bring the stones from far away. The architecture is based on interlock technique. No cement or any binding agent is used to construct this temple. One stone is placed over another stone. So London's Big Ben and the Leaning Tower of Pisa are tilting with time. But this temple stands straight even after 1000 years. The reason is that base of temple which is very wide. Width of the base has kept the structure straight over the years. The other speciality of this temple is it was built without digging the earth, which means it was built on plain land. The stone placed on the top of temple tower is known as kumbam. The kumbam weighs around 80 tons and is carved out of a single rock. There was no crane or powerful machines to lift the stone to such a height. Wondering how they managed to place the single stone on top of the Gobram. To the top of the temple tower, they made a ramp of around 6 kilometers long. Elephant, horses, bulls, and laborers together carried the stone. Another fascinating thing is that in this place is Nandi. Even the Nandi was carved in single stone. It is 13 feet in height. After 1000 years over came from 6 earthquakes, still standing straight. Really, it is an architecture marvel. No, children? So the next one is we are going to see about their navy. Okay. He built Rajaraja built a strong navy which he used to conquer Sri Lanka and Maldives. This was later utilized by his son Rajendra Cholan to invade Gadaram, Kadesh in present day Malaysia. The next side heading of this lesson is Splendid Temple and Bronze Sculpture. Just now we have seen about the temple, how splendid it is, that is, how impressive and excellent it is. Chola temples often became the nuclei of settlement, which grew around them. That means in a place any temple is constructed, then people started to have their settlements around the temple. Temples were centers of craft production. Craft in the sense that sculpture, artisans, dancers, musicians, etc. have their livelihood due to the temples. Temples were donated with land by rulers as well as by others. The income from these lands would be given as salaries to those who are working for the temple, such as priests, garland makers, cooks, sweepers, musicians, dancers, etc. So, temple is not only the place of worship, they were the hub of economic, social, and cultural life as well. Here, hub means center. Temples are the centers of economic, which means by temple people are having livelihood. Socially, people are communicated with each other because of temple, and cultural activities also flourished because of the temple. Chola's bronze image was worldwide very finest. They made the bronze image of deities and sometimes devotees as well. Deities are images of God and devotees are who dedicate their life for doing service to the God. So far we have seen in the next side heading of this topic is agriculture and irrigation. During Chola's period, how was the agriculture and irrigation? About that we are going to see now. Cholas were very good in doing war, captured many places, raided up to Ganga Valley and captured the Ganga Valley, and by doing naval expedition they captured many islands also. No, all these achievements were possible only because of their development in agriculture. Agriculture was very good in their reign, so that only they can achieve so many things. How they were good in agriculture? Now you know very well that Chola dynasty located in Kaveri Delta area. River Kaveri here branches off into several small channels before mixing into Bay of Bengal. These channels overflow frequently and depositing fertile soil on their banks, so that the agriculture land is very fertile and also getting plenty of water from the river Kaveri. Hence the rice cultivation was well there. During 5th or 6th century, agriculture was growing in this area and large scale cultivation was taking place. They extended the agriculture land by clearing forest, and some lands were leveled and used for agriculture. In delta region, embankments, that is dams, needed to be built to prevent flooding, and canals had to be constructed to carry water to the fields. That much water was available for irrigation. They cultivated crops in two seasons. So far, we have seen in the Kaveri Delta area how the agriculture was. In other places where the river water is not flowing, there how they would have done that agriculture. In those areas, the different methods were used for irrigation. What are they? They dug wells, huge tanks were constructed to collect the rainwater. Irrigation work requires planning, organizing, labor and resources, maintaining these works and deciding how water is to be shared. The rulers and the people were doing these activities effectively. Next side heading of the topic Cholas is the administration of the empire. The Cholas were good in doing wars, architecture and agriculture. How they were doing their administration? They segregate the regions as Ur and Nadu. The peasant settlements, that villages, were called as Ur. Groups of such villages formed larger units called Nadu. The Assembly of Leaders in Ur and Nadu performed several administration functions, including dispensing justice, that is, maintaining law and order, and collecting taxes. The rich Velala caste peasants had the control over Nadu under the supervision of the central Chola government. The Velala caste people were given the title Muvenda Velan, that is, a Velan or peasant serving three kings, and RIR, that means the chief. As the mark of respect, these titles were given to them and they were deputed in the important offices of the government. The Cholas inscription states the different types of land they are: the Velan Vagai, land of non-Brahmana peasants proprietors; Brahmadeya, land gifted to Brahmanas; Shalaboga, land for the maintenance of a school; Devadana Tiruna Mattukani, land gifted to temples; Palli Chandam, land donated to Jaina institutions. Since Brahmanas were getting lot of land grants, that is called as Brahmadeya, they started to have their settlements in the Kaveri valley. These Brahmadeya was looked after by assembly or sabha of prominent Brahmana landlords. These assemblies work very efficiently. Their decisions were recorded in detail in inscription, often as stone walls of temples. So far, we have seen about the landlord association in Sabha. The traders association also were there. They were called as Nagaram. From the inscription of Uttaramerur, it is came to be known how the Sabha was organized. Sabha consists of committees to look after the work of irrigation, garden, temples, etc. Name of the person who is eligible to be the member of the committee would be written and put in a earthen pot from which the young boy was asked to take out the tickets one by one for each committee. In this way, the committee members were selected. In the Uttaramerur inscription, it is written, who can be the member of Sabha. All these who wish to become members of the Sabha should be owners of land from which land revenue is collected. They should have their own homes. They should be between 35 and 70 years of age. They should have knowledge of the Vedas. They should be well versed in administration matter and honest. If anyone has been the member of any committee in the last 3 years, he cannot become a member of another committee. Anyone who has not submitted his accounts and those of his relatives cannot contest the election. So these are all the rules for the person to become the member of a Sabha committee. So with this lesson is over, children. Okay. From this topic, what all the questions can be asked is given here. Find out the answer for these questions. From this only the homework is given, and today's homework is 1 and 2 questions. Write in homework note only. And thank you, children. Take care.